Alright, we should be set up. We should be good. I think everything is good on both ends now. Let me just double check. Let's see. Twitch side, can you see me? Yes, you can. YouTube side, looks like you can see me. Perfect. Alright. Very scuffed start. There we go. Hello, sumo friends. Hello, everyone. I do apologize for that scuff. I guess what happened was OBS it doesn't, because what I usually do to run the sumo is that usually I have two instances of Open Broadcaster software open. You can see right there, there's only one. Then I also have Streamlabs OBS open as well. I did do that for a little bit of time, but it really ate up my CPU, so I switched back because there was lag on the streams themselves. But if I can't figure out this OBS issue, then it looks like we're going to have to... Ooh, excuse me, pardon me. If we can't figure out this OBS issue, then it looks like we're going to have to go back to using both of them. So, hopefully there aren't any more issues from here on out. Hopefully we can get through this, our preview show, which started... it initially was going to start late because I was eating ice cream with my wife. And, well, then I spent for the better part of 40 minutes trying to fix a technical issue. So, let me go close the door. And you might hear my wife playing Phasmophobia in the background. Thank you, Melanie, for your Juryo membership. So, first things first, guess the Banzuke. A lot of people guessed that we were going to have two komusubi. And honestly, I knew it. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew we were not going to have a komusubi 2 because Wakamoto Haru 9 and 6 from Maegashira 1 was not strong enough. So, as a result, a lot of Banzuke were completely screwed from the start. But surprisingly, I still got a good score. I only placed 224th out of, what, 300 something? I had a 6 and 9 record, and let's just quickly go through what I did and did not get correct. So, of course, everything in the start up here I got right, so let's hit them with the green for the bullseyes. Takiyasu, obviously not a komusubi, so we're not getting a point for that. And then Wakataka Kage, we do get a half above point for. We just had him on the wrong side of the Banzuke. Now, this is where I probably scrounged up a lot of points by being half right on pretty much everybody except for, Takiyasu, because when this type of thing happens, everyone moves up, everyone moves over, so we're going to see a lot of, Oho, I got on the wrong side of the Banzuke. Gonoyama, wrong side of the Banzuke. Hirada Umi, wrong side of the Banzuke. So, Wakamoto Haru, Abi, Tamawashi, we all got incorrect because, again, we guessed two komusubi, which didn't happen. And again, I freaking knew it wasn't going to happen, but I wanted to believe it could, and then it didn't. So, pretty much... It looks like up until Maegashira 4, we were off on a lot of our guesses. And then Ichi Yamamoto, we actually got right. Ura, we actually got right. And this is where, the math that we were doing kind of, see, I guessed Chiyoshoma to go to Maegashira 4. He actually fell to Maegashira 5. Takeru Fuji, I guessed he would go up to, Maegashira 3, he was actually Maegashira 4. That's just, a carryover of that Komusubi 2 spot. But this is where I actually start to get some points back because now it's just, I had bad math. So I don't get Chiyoshoma because I guessed him a little bit higher. But I do get Oshoma, Maegashira 6 East. I don't get Tobizaru because I guessed Haku Oho there. Instead, Haku Oho is half a rank down because I put Tobizaru there, or, you know, Maegashira 5, bumped a couple of people around, that kind of thing. But we get Oshoma and then Chura no Umi as correct guesses. Haku Oho and Tobizaru, we don't even get a single point for. Excuse me. And then Maegashira 8, we have Onokatsu. Keen Bolzan above Aonishiki. Where did I guess Keen Bolzan would be, is the question. I guessed Keen Bolzan Maegashira 7. He was actually Maegashira 8. You know, that's one of those things where it looks like he got pushed down a little bit further than I expected him to be. So, you know, I lose out on a point there. So, at this point, it's less messing up the Komusubi 2 and more bad math on my end. So, yes, please. Thank you. Aonishiki, because Keen Bolzan fell a little bit further, bumped down a little bit. I got me Dori Fuji on the wrong side of the Banzuke, so, you know, I'm still getting points. It's just, if I didn't guess Komusubi 2, I would have gotten a lot more correct. Meisei, wrong rank, but Shodai, wrong side of the Banzuke. Again, we're going to keep seeing that until we have Endo. I actually had Shodai and Endo next to each other again, but again, the Komusubi 2 thing. So Meisei and Endo were misses. Even though, like, you know, mathematically, I have them in the right ranks. It's just, you know, you know how the Banzuke goes. So we get half of a point for Shodai. We actually get correct on Shishi. But, you know, half of a point for Takanosho. Just a little bit of luck right there. Atami Fuji, we missed out on by a full rank. I actually had Atami Fuji above Shishi. So my bad math actually scores me a point right there. So, you know, that's how that goes. Abi would henka his mom. Hoping to attend the Fukuoka Basho. Ooh, have fun with that. Good luck. And I don't know who David Cross is. Let's see. Atami Fuji, I got wrong. Just bad math on my end. Takanosho, I got wrong side of the Banzuke because of the Komusubi 2 thing. And then as we go further down, again, Toki Hayate, I miss because of the Komusubi 2 thing. Sara no Umi, half of a point. Oh, that's a little bit darker. Koto Shoho, I miss. Roga, half of a point. And that's just the story of this entire Banzuke because we messed up the Sanyaku. Which, again, I'm surprised that I did get such a relatively good score. You know, I mean, it was only 35 points out of a potential, what, like 84? But it's still good enough for a 6-9 record, which I haven't had a winning record in so long, and guess the Banzuke. Ryuden, we actually got on point, because the bottom of the Banzuke is where a lot of weird things happen. So Ryuden, we got Shonan no Umi. He was actually bumped down to Maegashira 6, or bumped up to Maegashira 15 and not down to Maegashira 16, so we miss out on that. Kaio, we miss out on because, again, just the math was completely off, and they were not very kind to Kaio. I guessed Nishikigi at Maegashira 17. He's actually Maegashira 16, so again, some bad math right there. Tamashoho, guessed him at Maegashira 16. He's actually Maegashira 17. Same thing for Asakoryu, we miss him. And then Tochi Taikai, I expected him to be a bit higher, so we basically just completely screwed the entire bottom of the Banzuke because, you know, the math down there is just so unpredictable. You just have no idea where anybody is going to land. So the fact that I got even all of this correct, which, if you look at all of this orange and red, orange, red, orange, red, if we didn't put Takeyasu at Komusubi 2 and instead went with Wakamoto Haru, Maegashira 1, this entire, like, all of my guesses up to about Meisei, Maegashira 9 would have been correct. Maybe off for the Shishi, Atami Fuji, whatever, but, like, we would have had so many more correct picks. A couple of things I'm looking out for, a couple of things I'm excited for. Kirishima, of course. Hopefully he can continue a push. Daieisho, I mean, he's just a solid guy up there. And then, of course, Onosato, the solid, stalwart Ozeki looking to become the fastest Yokozuna. Very much looking forward to seeing if he could do that. And then Hoshoryu and Kotozakura both nursing injury, coming back from injury. I've seen actually 0 updates about it in general. So no idea what's going to be going on between those two. And I mean, you know, that's all I can really say about that. So let's get into the next section of this. I wanted to go over a little bit of news. This one is, let's see, Onosato, contender for Yokozuna promotion, misses joint training, stablemaster cites poor health. So a joint training session at the Nishonoseki Ichimon was held on May 1st at Saragatake Stable. Onosato, who will be aiming for the first time promotion to Yokozuna, the upcoming summer Basho, was the main focus of attention, but did not participate in training. Yoshinoseki Oyakata, former Yokozuna Kisanosato, explained that Onosato was not feeling well. He said he received the report that morning and decided that the wrestler would skip the session. When asked if it might be due to an injury, the stablemaster responded, yes, but regarding whether Onosato had a fever, he said, I don't know, you'll have to ask him, suggesting that the details were still unclear. So it seems like Onosato woke up, said, I'm not really feeling it today, and his coach said, alright, no practice. Onosato had completed the spring tour, which lasted a month, and he attended a press conference at the Kokugikan. He looked healthy. The day of the Banzuke announcement, typically a rest day. On the following day, April 29th, Onosato only made a brief appearance at the beginning of practice. April 30th, training was held privately. Since the release of the Banzuke, which usually marks the start of more serious training, he has yet to be seen actively participating. On May 2nd, a public training session supervised by the Yokozuna Deliberation Council will take place. This article, of course, came out, a couple of weeks ago. But he did show up to that training. So Onosato, a little bit of a question mark on whether or not he's going to be nursing an injury. I have no idea if Hoshoryu or Kotozakura are over their injuries as well. It's pretty unclear. Honestly, I have no idea what's going to be going on. But for right now, it is what it is. The other small bit of news is a little bit of a trivia change. So this is about the prize money handed out at the end of every match. The Sumo Association is reducing the prize money handed out on the dohyo due to theft concerns. 20,000 yen of the prize money will be direct deposit into their bank account, while 10,000 yen is going to be handed to them on the dohyo, which, I mean, just reading that title, it kind of makes sense, and it is kind of smart that way. It's nice to have the physical cash in hand, but let's be real, they're probably going to an ATM to deposit all that anyway. So, turning the envelopes into more of a ceremonial thing because they don't physically have all the money that it represents, I think is going to be an okay change. Like, it doesn't really change much for us or for the sumo wrestlers. And, I haven't heard anything about anyone having their money stolen, to be honest, but I mean, anything can happen, let's be real. So, Japan Sumo Association announced that it will reduce the amount of prize money placed in the envelopes that the wrestlers receive on the dohyo. The Wrestlers Association, comprised of wrestlers ranked Juryo and above, expressed concerns about theft due to the large amounts of cash being held. And there were even proposals for going cashless in some quarters. The difference of 20,000 yen will be deposited into their bank account. This policy will be implemented starting from the summer Grand Sumo tournament, which begins on the 11th. And then it just goes into more detail about the price of the sponsorship, which this might be a trivia question, Each sponsorship is worth 70,000 yen. The winning wrestler receives 60,000 after deducting administrative fees. However, since half of it is held by the association as a tax payment deposit, the amount actually received in the ceremonial envelopes was 30,000 yen in cash. In the case of 50 prize money banners, the wrestler would receive 1.5 million yen on the spot. So there's a little bit of cool trivia at the end right there. We'll be doing that section a little bit later. The schedule for day 1 and day 2. But for right now, this is the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes. I have to sign in real quick, so I am going to hide my login credentials here. Let me just bloop, and bloop. Oh, that's a little outdated. So let me log in real quick. I don't need you guys logging in as me. I don't need my identity to be stolen. Alrighty. Guess the Banzuke. Not even. Kachi Clash. Here we go. If you would like to join my Kachi Clash stable, let me know in the chat as well. So at the moment, there are a lot of, smart picks you can make. There are a lot of not so smart picks you can make. There are a lot of guys that look really strong. There are a lot of guys at new career highs that you should be looking out for, but I don't know if I'm too confident in. So let's get into it now. Sorry for the sniffles in the microphone. I'm actually just getting over a head cold. The baby has the sniffles. Everything is hitting the fan. Heard nothing but good things on Kirishima. That is a good thing. Usually no news is good news. Good news is better news. But let's start at the very tippy top. Hoshoryu, Onosato, and Kotozakura. It's no secret that Kotozakura is my favorite of the three. I prefer Kotozakura over the other two, just personally. But if I were to be, unbiased in this analysis here, Onosato is clearly the favorite pick here. He is far and away the smart pick here. Hoshoryu coming back from a minor elbow surgery, so it's not going to take him out indefinitely, it's just a minor surgery. Kotozakura, nursing injury, was just Kadoban. We don't really know what's going on with him either. There's a big question mark on Kotozakura as well. So even just considering that, Onosato, the clear pick if you want to win Kachi Clash. Will there be pressure on Onosato because he is in this Yokozuna push for the first time? Maybe, maybe not. Is that small injury report that he, didn't train for a couple of days, is that concerning? Is that going to change into anything? If it does, this is also one thing to consider too, the stable master. The stable master has the final say on whether or not the sumo wrestler will fight. Kisano Sato himself, Nishonoseki Oyakata, Onosato's stable master, he wants to revolutionize the world of sumo so that it is healthier and stronger. So he would know. If Onosato can't go, then he won't let him go. If Onosato can go, then he will let him go. So, in this instance, if you believe that Nishonoseki Oyakata is making the right decision, then it probably is the right decision. If he believes Onosato is fully healthy and can fight, then he will. Because he knows better than anyone, making it to Yokozuna with an elbow injury and then having to retire really sucks. For those of you that don't know, he made it to Yokozuna, but because of his elbow, he was forced to retire, after 1 year or something like that? It was not very good. So, Nishonoseki Oyakata, after that, went back to college in order to, I believe it was get a master's degree in sports science, and his thesis paper was writing about how to improve training situations and health in sumo. So, reason why I'm going into all of this is to really double down on the fact that if Onosato is healthy, of course his stable master is going to let him fight. If he's unhealthy, his stable master will not push him to fight because he knows better than anyone else that that's a bad idea. The fact that Onosato is here means he's 100%. The fact that Onosato will be fighting compared to Hoshoryu, that elbow surgery, Kotozakura nursing some sort of injury that we don't know because we never get any details about it. Onosato is just clearly the best pick here. He is stronger than the other two. He may not be as fast as the other two, but there was an analysis that I remember reading at the previous tournament where Onosato, when he wins, it's like, yeah, he's supposed to win. That was expected of him. He was like, that was a win that, of course, he's going to get. But when he loses, it is an overwhelming loss. It is like a, what the hell is this guy doing kind of loss. Like, why would you ever think to do that kind of loss? So, in those instances where he's caught off guard at the Tachi, one of those matches I'm thinking of right now is Hirado Umi versus Onosato, where Hirado Umi just went straight for the throat, and even though he's half the size of Onosato, he just bullied him, basically. That's one of those losses where it's like, bro, what happened? You know? So, if he can clean that up, or at the very least make his losses a little bit more competitive, that'll be a good sign for the future. That'll be a good sign for now. And then, of course, in his wins, they're not overwhelming wins. They're not, like, huge, overwhelming, like, oh my god, he killed him kind of wins. So, you see those types of wins from Hoshoryu, from Kotozakura, and not as often from Onosato. So when it comes to, like, if they're all at their peak, it's very hard to determine which one of those three is the best. But in this very moment, I believe Onosato is the best, and I think I've spent a good amount of time on that. Again, sorry for the sniffles. Pope Leo Dickinson the 14th. It was a matter of time before someone made that joke. This next situation, this next section, Daieisho, Kirishima, Takayasu, and Waka Takakage. Now, this one I think is going to be a little bit more difficult to call. And Takayasu, obvious fan favorite, just lost a playoff, you know, all of that nonsense. I don't think he is going to be the best pick here. I know it's easy to be like, oh, you know, he's hot right now. He's coming off of that playoff loss. He's going to want revenge. I've seen this story like 7 times already, dude. He's not going to come off that hot. He's not going to be that strong anymore. Like, Takayasu, this is not Ozeki Takayasu anymore. The last time he was a Komusubi, he was out for injury 249, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, I love Takayasu. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him win so badly, but I have zero confidence in him doing well from Komusubi. Maybe a winning record if he's lucky, and if we're really lucky, he gets 10 plus wins, gets pushed up to Sekiwake, and can go on another Ozeki push. And it's not that far out of the realm of possibility, you know. He's older, sure, he's 35 years old, but like we've seen from Tamawashi, who I believe won his yusho when he was 37 or 38. So, you know, it's not like we can't count him out, just, oh, he's over the age of 33, he's never going to win anything ever again, you know? Like, that's not what I'm saying. But the older you get, the less you have in the tank, the more wear and tear is on your body, like, that, those things stack up, and that's why I'm not too keen on Takayasu. You could kind of argue the same thing about Waka Takakage. Even though he's 5 years younger, he did have this massive ACL, MCL, everything in his knee type injury that took him out, and even though he's been looking good in this top division, you know, coming back to Komusubi, wasn't that confident, but even starting in this 9-6 tournament, 0-4, like, that doesn't build confidence either. He got all of his wins after the Ozeki Gauntlet. Like, you know, he lost to the top 4 guys on the Banzuke, so that doesn't inspire confidence either, but I like Waka Takakage. I think if you're gonna pick Takayasu, Waka Takakage would be the better option instead. Then we'll go to Daieisho. I mean, he's good for a winning record. I can't say too much else about that. Name on there is Benerick. You got it, Benjamin. Ben Erickson. Benerick. Ha ha ha. Benner. You're not showing up right now, so I will add you later. So anyway, let's see. Daisho, you can count on him to get a winning record. It's less likely that he'll get a losing record from this position than a winning record. But are you going to be satisfied with 8 and 7? I mean, if you pick like Onosato, Tamawashi, where is he? Aonishiki and Shishi, then yeah, you could take the risk on Daisho to get you maybe 10 wins, maybe only 8 wins, who knows. But I mean, Daisho, we've seen him so long, he's still up here. 13 wins can get him Ozeki. Do we really think he's going to get 13 wins? Do we really think he's going to challenge for Ozeki? It's like a 10% chance, maybe. I don't think it's going to happen. You've changed your picks like 10 times this week. Yeah, alright, let me actually write down your name, Ben-Eric. Kachi Clash. Let's see. So Daisho, he's a safe pick. Takayasu is a risky and fun pick. Wakatakakage is a less risky pick that is equally as fun. Daisho is a very safe pick. And then we get to Kirishima. I'm going to call him the wild card here, because truthfully, I have no idea what we're going to get out of Kirishima. You know, it was only a year and a half ago that we were discussing potential Yokozuna Kirishima, and then he lost Ozeki. But he's stuck around. You know, he's been getting 6 and 9, 8 and 7. That doesn't inspire confidence, but he's been sticking around, and he still shows us flashes of that Ozeki level sumo, but it's not consistent enough. Like, Maegashira 1 and Komusubi are basically the same rank, and he goes 11 and 4, 8 and 7. You know, that's only a 3-win difference, but that is a pretty big difference if you're going between only like one rank. So the big question here is, are we going to see Ozeki Kirishima, or are we going to see 8 and 7 Komusubi Kirishima just keeping his rank? You know, it's hard to say. And the last time he was Sekiwake, 6 and 9, but at the same time, Sekiwake 2 only last September, 12 and 3 Jun Yusho. So the real wild card here out of all 4 of these guys, and truthfully, none of them is that bad of a pick. Like, you can make an argument for any one of these 4 guys, and I'll accept that's why you're picking them. You know, like I said, Takayasu is hot right now. Takayasu is the Papa Bear. I love him. Yeah, I would pick him too. Wakatakakage has that long, funny name. He was an Ozeki hopeful before that knee injury. I want to see him come back. I do too. Kirishima lost Ozeki. I want to see him regain it. He almost made it to Yokozuna. Can he get back to Ozeki? Yeah, I'd pick him too. Daisho, yeah, I'd pick him too. I have to invite you manually, Billy Cigars, so just leave your name in the chat, and I'll write it down so I can invite you to the Dickinson Baya afterwards. So, me personally, like, this is honestly a coin flip, but I think I'm going to go for the wild card, and I'm going to pick Kirishima here. I like Wakatakakage more than I like Kirishima, but I'm going to go for the wild card pick, and I might regret it, but I'm going with Kirishima. I like him. Let's see. Who is our next section? Kirishima's back issues on tour worry you, but he was all smiles on tour going 4-4 with Hoshoryu a few days ago. Koto Sakura, I don't know if he's still nursing that injury or not. Let's see, William Daly. I knew a guy with that name in college. Excuse me. Next section here, Maegashira 1 through 5. Again, excuse the sniffles, I'm still getting over a head cold. Wakamoto Haru, Oho, Abi, Gonoyama, Tamawashi, Hirado Umi, Takeru Fuji, Ichiyamamoto, Ura, and Chiyoshoma. There are some answers here that are better than others. Excuse me. I got these boogies. I think the better options here, you have Wakamoto Haru, Abi, who are solid and can almost guarantee at least an 8 and 7. So safe picks, I would argue for them. More wild cardy picks, Oho, Gonoyama, Hirado Umi. I'm tempted to say Ichiyamamoto too. I don't expect Ichiyamamoto to really do well, but who knows? He could pull something out. The reason why I call these other 3 wild cards is because Oho made it to Sekiwake. He was in the Yusho race conversation, only a couple tournaments ago. Had a rough last tournament. Hirado Umi, former Komusubi, went 10 and 5 in his debut as Komusubi, and then fell back down the ranks. So, what's going on with him? Gonoyama, kind of a similar story. He's been stuck at this Maegashira 2 ceiling for a little bit. He's been stuck at the ceiling for a year. So, is he going to break through? I don't know. Is this going to be his breakout? Is he going to get up there? Is he going to do it, And then, of course, Ichiyamamoto, like I said, I don't expect him to do well. But, 7 and 8 with a Keen Boshi at the last tournament, that's very impressive for a career high. And usually, when you struggle at your new career high rank, but you don't fall like this, that's a good sign, Now he's acclimated. Now he can get better. We'll see if he does do better, but honestly, I wouldn't pick him. Then Tamawashi and Takeru Fuji, I believe, are the smarter picks. The smarter picks. I said Wakamoto Haru and Abi are the smart picks. You can rely on them to get a winning record. Wakamoto Haru and Abi have been around in the Sanyaku for years now. Being Maegashira 1 and 2, at this point in their careers, it's just kind of like a blip on their radars. Asanoyama is in the 3rd division. If he gets a 7-0 Yusho, he can make it to Juryo, though. Tamawashi and Takeru Fuji, I say, are the smarter picks. Although Tamawashi is a little bit more of a question mark because, like I said about Takayasu, Tamawashi is older. He has been looking rustier. He's 40 years old. He's the oldest guy in the ring, But he's still impressing. He's still doing well. He's still marching forward. 10 and 5 at the last tournament, 9 and 6 from the one before that. Sure, this almost year-long slide of 7 and 8's not very good looking. But you got to remember that 13 and 2 Yusho from Maegashira 3, it was 3 years ago, but this guy clearly still got it. He can shock us on any day. He's strong. He's smart. He might be slowing down a little bit, but it's only a little bit, and the dude is 40. He can do it if he really wants to. And then, of course, Takeru Fuji, the exact opposite of Tamawashi. Young guy, so fresh to Grand Sumo. His worst tournament, a 9 and 6, which could have been so much better, but they did throw him to the wolves these last few days. Onosato, Kotozakura. Aonishiki was a match I thought he would have won. And then Wakamoto Haru kind of should have been more of a gimme match, but he lost that one too. So probably, near this end, after getting smacked down by the 2 Ozeki, he was probably thinking damn, I'm not as strong as I thought I was. Even though he already has a Yusho under his belt, you know what I'm saying? So Takeru Fuji is definitely going to be the most popular pick here. And, honestly, I'll pick him too. Ooh, excuse me. But, this is where we get into these last 2 guys, the tricksters. Now, being at Maegashira 5 means that, being at Maegashira 5 means that they won't have to fight the Ozeki Gauntlet. So if everyone is healthy, Chiyoshoma and Ura will be fighting down the Banzuke, and that's where they get winning records. Chiyoshoma, the fact that he's up this high in the first place was a little bit surprising, and he didn't do that poorly for himself at the previous tournament, 6-9 Kinboshi. That's much more impressive than I thought he was going to do. I thought he would easily get double-digit losses, but 6-9, very good for Chiyoshoma at that rank, at this age, 33 years old. I'm saying this as if we wouldn't have gone to high school together, Ura, the same thing. He's been around for so long. Komusubi only once. 5-10 from Maegashira 2, only fell 2 ranks. Talk about favoritism, am I right? 7-8 at the last tournament. He could get away with a winning record here, but it looks like he just had, a bad string of matches here. Like, matches he should have won. Takeru Fuji, Shodai, Tamawashi, Oho. Okay, maybe not against Daisho, but these are 3 matches that he should have won. As easily as he went 7-8, he could have been 10-5, So Ura, I think he also has a chance to get a really good record here. But, like I said, I'm going to go with my favorite pick here, Takeru Fuji, because I need to have at least one of those popular picks. Let's see. Next section. Went over a half-hour recording for your own channel. Very nice. Good luck on that endeavor. Let's see. Next up, we have Maegashira 6-10. Oshoma, Tobizaru, you know who I'm picking. Haku Oho, Chunano Umi, Onokatsu, Kinbozan, Aonishiki, Midori Fuji, Meisei, and Shodai. Now, I'm going to go a little bit quicker through these guys because there's a lot of them. But, you have the obvious tricksters here, Tobizaru and Midori Fuji. Midori Fuji is more popular, but I obviously prefer Tobizaru. He's my favorite guy. I'm going to pick him no matter what. I think he's going to get a winning record from this position. I think he is better than almost everyone else in this section and could also take wins off of guys above him if he needs to fight them, which he might. So, Tobizaru, I think he's going to bounce back and get back up the Banzuke. Midori Fuji, he's been underwhelming. He has not been performing as well as I thought he would be from this low on the Banzuke. You can see 9-6, 7-8, 7-8, 7-8, 8-7. I would have expected better score lines, but it is possible that he's been figured out. And, even against some of these newer guys on the come up, he is beating the newer guys, Asakoryu right there, Shirokuma, but he's also losing to the new guys, Shishi right there. I don't see Aonishiki on this list either, so I could foresee that as a loss too. Midori Fuji, I think he's underperforming. I expect better of him, or are my expectations too high? Then we have Oshoma, the workhorse. This guy, I like this guy because he was stuck at Juryo 3 for a year and a half straight. And now he is kind of making a splash in this top division. But at this point, after seeing him in this top division for a while, this Maegashira 4, it looks like that might be his ceiling. He did do well for himself, but starting off 0-4 is always going to shoot you in the foot. Ooh, excuse me. Maegashira 6 is a good spot for him, but do I truly think he's stronger than Haku Oho, Onokatsu, Aonishiki, Tobizaru, Takeru Fuji maybe, Ura? Not really, I don't think so. Oshoma, iffy pick. Haku Oho is definitely going to be another one of those popular picks. This guy, still, again, fresh to this Grand Sumo. He is coming off the back of 5 straight winning records, almost a year straight of winning, but half of that year was in the Juryo division. So, it's a good trend. It's a great trend. 10-5, 9-6 from Maegashira 15-9 respectively. He's not that far away from Maegashira 9, so I think easily he could get another 9-6. Haku Oho, he's looking fine. Sometimes that bicep issue keeps coming up. It's a little annoying when it does. The fights start tomorrow in 24 hours, or a little bit less than that actually, more like 20 hours. The sumo actually begins proper. So Haku Oho, he should be another popular pick, but there's a reason why he won't be. And we'll get to him later. Churano Umi, truthfully, he's one of these guys that falls through the cracks for me. He's been performing not so hot lately, but did perform well at the last tournament, 11-4 from Maegashira 14. So it looks like these middle Maegashira ranks should be his equilibrium. I don't want to see him go 4-11 again, but I mean, whether he goes 11-4 or 4-11, honestly, I don't think it's gonna. I think he's more likely to go 4-11 than 11-4. Like, these records are nice, 10-5, 10-5, but I don't know. Not very confident in his skills. Onokatsu, another one of these young up-and-comers, 25 years old. New career high of Maegashira 8. Generally, he should struggle from this rank. Generally. But, what's up? Okay. I can move, but had to go get my wife a pillow. Because, guess who needed emergency gallbladder removal surgery this week? She did. And now, she's on pain meds. So anyway, Onokatsu, still kind of a relative unknown guy. I don't see too many people confident in him, and, I mean, fair enough. He's been on that zigzag up, you know, like if you look at the stock market, it always seems to be a zigzag going up or a zigzag going down. He's that zigzag going up, and I don't know when he's going to stop. So, I mean, if we look at the trends, new career high, losing record, 9-6. New career high, 7-8, 10-5. New career high, 7-8. Incredibly likely. I think it's more likely he'll go 7-8 than a winning record. But even then, 7 points, 7 wins is not that bad of a pick. Honestly, though, you're not going to pick Onokatsu because you know someone else is probably going to get more than 7 points, you know what I'm saying? The Keen Bozer Dozer. A lot of people like him because he is the dozer. He did have that 12-3 playoff loss recently, but then got smacked back down 6-9. I believe this 12-3 was more a result of him taking advantage of these lower ranks. He definitely belongs in those middle ranks, but if you look at his losses, Abi, Hoshoryu, and then he beat an injured Kotozakura. He beat Onosato. That is one, you know, good mark right there. But then loses to Oho, loses to Hoshoryu in the playoff. Like, and then after that, 6-9 from Maegashira 5. I believe he'll get a winning record here, but it probably won't be that big. And now, of course, Aonishiki. People are hyped for Aonishiki. Did you see the cringe shilling on Sumo Food's channel today? I actually don't really watch Sumo Foods, so I don't know. But Aonishiki, everyone is hyped about this guy. 21 years old, just celebrated his 21st birthday during the previous tournament. And I mean, his worst tournament so far was a 10-5 in Juryo. This guy is incredible. He almost, you know, continued the record for the most consecutive wins from debut, but unfortunately fell in that Sandanme final to Nagamura. Unlucky for him. But then, of course, he's just electric. He's so strong, he's so powerful, but he's so green. He's so new. I believe stronger people will take advantage of him. But the question is anyone in this section truly stronger than him? Aonishiki, he's not as reckless as Shishi was when Shishi was on the come up. And he does look stronger than Shishi was when Shishi was on the come up. And the reason why I compare them to is mainly because I've been watching Shishi for a long time. And, you know, watching his growth over the years has been, you know, drilled into my brain. Aonishiki, very quick to improve, but he's nowhere near his skill ceiling yet. And eventually he's going to hit that big road bump where he needs to, push past that plateau so he can keep pushing towards his ceiling. Is this going to be the plateau? I don't think so. I think he's stronger than Onokatsu and Hakuoho and Oshoma and Tobizaru and so on and so on and so on. Everyone around him in this section, at least. He might be fighting someone like Takeru Fuji and Ura and Ichiyamamoto and Chiyoshoma, which he might fall victim to a Chiyoshoma or Ura trick, but at the same time, like, there's a good chance that he could blast up the Banzuke even further. Like, he's already defeated Hakuoho and Meisei, who are in his section right now. He's defeated Shishi, who is nearby, He's defeated Sekiwake Oho, defeated Takeru Fuji. So, like, he is incredibly strong. He is stronger than almost everyone else in this section. So, of course you would want to pick Aonishiki. He's the best pick here. You're stupid if you don't pick him. That's me. I'm stupid. I'm picking the monkey. Then, of course, we have Meisei. Meisei, my stocks on him are very low. Like, 9 and 6 from Maegashira 10 or 11. Sure. But I haven't really been confident in him since he fell from Sekiwake all the way back in 2021, Like, this 1 in 14 kind of broke me on Meisei. Ever since then, I'm like, I don't care what he does. Like, that's a little rude and it's not fair to him. But, like, there hasn't been anything impressive since then. Like, a couple of Kinboshi, sure, but Kinboshi against Teruno Fuji, while, I mean, that was Teruno Fuji's only loss, but, that was an impressive win, sure. Another Kinboshi 6 and 9 against an injured Teruno Fuji, so, like, I'm just not confident in his strength. I'm not confident in his speed or his skill. If you want someone that's gonna get a strong winning record, Aonishiki, Hakuoho, If you want someone, like, if you want a wild card, you could pick Oshoma or Onokatsu or Kinbozan. Tobizaru if you like the tricky guys. Midori Fuji if you like the tricky guys. Meisei, there's nothing, like, he doesn't have anything going for him. Like, he's not overwhelmingly agile. He's not overwhelmingly strong. He's not exactly impressive when it comes to his kimarite. Like, he's the picture of the average sumo wrestler at the moment. Like, in eras more recent, but eras past, you picture the average sumo wrestler, you see, like, Oki no Umi. Oki no Umi could beat the Yokozuna on any given day, but then he'll lose to the debutante Maegashira 17. Like, he can win on any given day, but he's also likely to lose that anyway. You're just flipping a coin with Meisei. In so many words, you're just flipping a coin with Meisei, and I've played enough Pokemon TCG Pocket to know that I hate flipping coins. Because my opponent, when they play that Misty, they get 5 heads in a row and they're throwing out blizzards on turn 1. But when I play Misty, it's a tails right away. So, I'm not picking Meisei. And then Shodai. 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 It's him. It's Shodai. He's right there. The big guy. Shodai. 3 straight losing records. None of them looking good. He's looking like he's lost a lot of strength. Congo will tell you, oh, don't worry, he's just reserving his strength. He's going to bounce back. I don't think he's going to bounce back. I'm sorry, Congo. He's not bouncing back. So sorry, my guy. Can he get a winning record from Maegashira 10? Yeah, I think so. He should get a winning record from Maegashira 10. He is a former Ozeki. But he's just been, like, he's letting people push him around. He's looking weak. He's not looking like he's into it anymore, He's big, he's strong, but he's not using his strength or his size. So I don't know if he's like kind of checking out of some of these matches, or if he like just gets a bad Tachi eye and is immediately like, okay, yeah, he wins. I'm not gonna put in that much effort. I'm gonna preserve my body, you know, that kind of thing. Like, can't really get a read on Shodai. I feel like he should get a winning record here, but I just don't think he will. I just don't think he will. Mita does not have a new name. And we have not discussed Kusano yet. I usually don't discuss the Juryo Banzuke, but I might for this time around. So, in conclusion, for this Maegashira 6 through 10 section, Aonishiki is the far and away best pick. Haku Oho could be the dark horse, alongside Oshoma and Onokatsu. Tobizaru's my favorite, so I'm picking him. But if you're going to pick Tobizaru, you could also pick Midori Fuji. And then the guys that I didn't mention are not worth picking. Final section. My wife is holding a gun to my head. I have to pick Takanosho, even though I really want to pick Shishi. Actually, I want to pick Asakoryu. He's my favorite down here. But she's forcing me to pick Takanosho. Pull the trigger, Piglet. If you do your guess, your Kachi Clash, do I have to pick Takanosho?
Yes.
I don't want to pick Takanosho.
What is it, Kachi?
Kachi Clash, yes. I'm gonna poke you in the belly next time you call me bitch, by the way. Anyway, I'll go quickly through this one. Endo, veteran. He could go 10 and 5. He could equally go 5 and 10. I'm not picking him. Shishi, I like him a lot. I believe in him. I like him just as much as I like, you know, Aonishiki, Haku Oho, Takeru Fuji. I would pick him if I wasn't being forced to pick Takanosho. Atami Fuji, this is a crash down for Atami Fuji. Like, sheesh, what happened, bro? 5 and 10, 6 and 9. This is prime bounce back for Atami Fuji. I think 11 wins minimum from Maegashira 12. If he does not get 11 wins here, he's falling down to Juryo, and then he'll win the Juryo yusho and bounce back like that. That's what I'm thinking happens to him. You'll be able to see the next tournament live. Or can I get a Leo Sumo t-shirt? You know, maybe I'll just set up one of those, like, crappy drop shipping websites that I used to have. Because people have been asking for t-shirts and towels and that kind of thing. So I used to have something like that set up. I'll probably set one up again. Who knows? I'm picking Kotozakura, Kirishima. Where is he? Takeru Fuji, Tobizaru, and then Takanosho. I don't want to pick Takanosho.
That's the rule.
I know, it's the rule. I just need Takanosho to fall to Juryo. But I mean, getting into Takanosho next. He could go 12 and 3. He could go 3 and 12. Who knows? You know, I believe down here this should be another bounce back for Takanosho. You know, 3 and 12 is incredibly unlike him. Like, he just went 6 and 9 from Maegashira 1. 3 and 12, he had to be nursing an injury or something. Like, there's no way he was 100% going 3 and 12. He should 100% be able to bounce back. I think 10 plus wins for Takanosho, honestly. That's if he can keep his feet underneath him, damn it. Toki Hayate finally got a winning record in this top division. Maegashira 13 now. I'm not too confident he will be able to get a winning record from this new career high, but he will largely be fighting against the same people, so I think he could get a winning record. Sada no Umi, longtime veteran. He's been up and down between Juryo and the top division. I like him. He's solid. I wouldn't pick him, though. Koto Shoho. I used to like Koto Shoho so much, and he's still so young. He's only 25 years old, but he's such a known factor. I've already checked out on him. Like, You know, he's still young. He can still recoup and redouble his efforts, but, you know, a future Yokozuna is not going 5-10 from Maegashira 13, you know what I mean? Like, I used to be so much higher on Koto Shoho, and now I'm just, yeah, he's another guy on the Banzuke. Roga coming back to the top division. I don't think he's the strongest in this section. Of course, if you're a fan of sumo food, you can go ahead and pick him. He's going to be good for 7 wins minimum, you know. Career high Maegashira 8, 7 and 8, and then of course injured. You can't really help being injured. And then coming back 11 and 4 from Juryo. That's a great bounce back. Should be good for the mental. Maegashira 14. He'll get a winning record. I'm sure of it. Ryuden, again, veteran like Sadano Umi. I'll put him in the same tier as Sadano Umi. He is better than Sadano Umi, but at the same time, recently he's also been like 4 and 11 from Maegashira 13, 6 and 9 from Maegashira 14. Maybe he's just kind of done in this top division. Like maybe he just doesn't belong up here anymore. Maybe he's just going to be the gatekeeper to Juryo. I believe he's stronger than Sadano Umi, but I mean, recently he's been looking weaker. I don't know what to think. Shonna no Umi, what is wrong with this guy? He's one of the biggest guys in the top division. 3 and 12, 8-7, 8-7, 4 and 11. Like, what are you doing, man? He's another guy that I was really high on, but now it's like the hype faded away, and it's just like he's like Shodai. He's just another big body that doesn't know what to do with his big body. I like him. I want to like him more, but I just don't have confidence in him. Kaio making his debut. I like Kaio. I don't know if he's ready for this top division yet, because I mean it's not like he struggled in Juryo. 11 and 4. 8-7, 7 and 8, you know, that's a decent run right there. Bouncing back after that 7 and 8 with a 9 and 6. I think he's gonna struggle, but I don't think he'll fall out of the top division. I think 7 and 8, maybe 6 and 9 for Kaio. I like him. I want to see him succeed, but I don't think he will. Nishikigi. 3 and 12 from Maegashira 10, 5 and 10 from Maegashira 6. You know, it was great. A couple years ago, that one tournament, that flash in the pan where he started off 10 and 1, made it to Komusubi off the back of that. But I mean, again, the same tier as Sadano Umi. He's a good veteran. You like to see him win. You don't like to see him lose. And he's not going to make us happy this tournament. I think he's going to lose and fall back down to Juryo. Tama Shoho, he didn't have that good of a tournament in his debut, 6 and 9, but I mean he bounced back, 8 and 7. He got his 8 wins, then lost the last 3 matches, so he was probably just coasting through those. Like, all right, I'm back in the top division, baby. Let's pop the champagne. It's like you still have 3 days left, my guy. But I'm not confident he'll get a winning record here. I'd like to see a winning record, but you know, he's a scrappy fighter. He's fun to watch, but he's not that strong. He's not that fast. But he's fun to watch, I'll give him that. Asakoryu, my favorite guy in this section of the Banzuke, because he's that muscle man type. You know, making his debut 6 and 9, bounced back 9 and 6, another 6 and 9. That time he had a much better chance to get the winning record, but he just fell apart in that second week. His final trimester, 0 for 5 against people he should have been beating. Shirokuma, Shonna no Umi, who was at 4 and 10. Like, Jesus. Like, sure, you can lose to Haku Oho, you can lose to Midori Fuji and Endo, but like, you should have had that winning record, Asakoryu. He's, you know, I like that muscle man body type. You know, they're short, stout, you know, huge traps. But he's not the strongest. He's not the fastest. He's got good footwork, but that doesn't win you a match. You know, he needs to use his strength a little bit more. And then the final guy, Tochi Taikai, making his debut. I don't know what to think of Tochi Taikai. He's young. He's, you know, good enough to make it up into this top division, of course. 25 years old. But, you know, at the same time, Koto Shoho is 25 years old, and when he was, what, 21, 22, he was Maegashira 3. So I've already, like I said earlier, I've checked out on Koto Shoho. Toji Taikai, you know, equally likely to be that kind of guy that, like, yeah, he's occupying the top division, sure, but he's never going to make that big of a splash. But this is his debut. This is his first tournament in the top division. I don't think he is going to make a splash. I don't think he's going to stay in this top division, and that's not a bad thing. But it is a bad thing if you want to win Kachi Clash. So, you know, I like Toji Taikai, again, but you don't pick him if you want to win. So, these are my picks. Koto Zakura, because he's my favorite out of these three. You should pick Onosato if you want to win. Kirishima, you could honestly pick anybody in this section, and you would have a good argument for it. Takeru Fuji, I think he's just the best pick here. Tobizaru, he's my favorite, but if you want to win, Aonishiki, Haku Oho, I think those are the best two bets. And then Takanosho, he's a wild card, but I think the best pick here would be probably Shishi. You know, maybe Endo, too, if he's feeling himself. But everyone else in this section, like, again, it's a coin flip between 7 and 8, 8 and 7. It's hard to say. There are not actually any matches tonight. Is it possible to contact me regarding membership? Yeah, you could send me an email. I believe it's somewhere on my profile. Koto Shoho is Kyujo? Is he really? Hold on, let me check the schedule. Oh, look at that. Yeah, no Koto Shoho. So Koto Shoho is Kyujo. Definitely don't pick Koto Shoho then. don't pick Koto Shoho. He's not fighting. So I will save my picks here. And this is my Kachi Clash. I hope I was able to give you an idea of who might win, who might lose. Who is my favorite to win the tournament? Onosato, easily. Dark horses, I mean, let's do favorite to win the tournament, Onosato. Right behind him, obviously, Hoshoryu and Koto Zakura. Dark horse to win this tournament, aka someone unexpected. Like, not a long shot bet. Like, you're not going to bet on Meisei to win this tournament, but a dark horse to win this tournament. I'm going to say Tamawashi. Tamawashi is my surprise pick. Odds are 12 to 1 on him. Onosato, odds are like 1.3 to 1. Hoshoryu and Koto Zakura are like 2 to 1, 3 to 1. You know, the horse races just happened. Everyone here in Sekiwake, Komusubi, maybe like 6 to 1, 7 to 1. Tamawashi, 12 to 1 odds. I'll take that bet. Takeru Fuji, probably a little bit more than that. Give me the Hail Mary, Aonishiki. Yeah, 50 to 1 Aonishiki. Not the worst, though. You're going to have, like, Tochi Taikai 999 to 1. I'll put $1 down on him. Let's see if it happens. Now, someone mentioned lower on the Banzuke, so let's talk about Juryo. Kusano. That's what people want to hear about. Kusano. Juryo 1. Sitting next to Mitakeumi, which Mitakeumi, all the way down in Juryo for the first time in 10 years. A meteoric rise into a horrendous downfall. I'm sad to see it, honestly, but, I mean, it happens, you know? It happens to everyone, eventually. But Kusano, well, there's actually a lot of guys at new career highs. I'm excited to see. Kusano, that 14-1, could have been 15-0. If it was 15-0, maybe he occupies that Maegashira 18 spot instead of Tochi Taikai. But we'll never know. Kusano, is he all that? Yeah, I mean, look at his record. 6-1, 5-2, 5-2, 4-3, 4-3. So, I can't say I had this 14-1 yusho anywhere on my radar. Will he be able to replicate this? I want to say the The odds are not likely. I don't think he's going to be likely to replicate a 14-1. I think he'll get a winning record for sure, but I think it'll be closer to like a 9-6 because he will be fighting higher on the Juryo Banzuke. He's going to be fighting, Mitake Umi, Hide no Umi, 2 veterans, Takara Fuji, 3 veterans of the top division, Haku Yozan, a bully, Kageaki, former veteran of the top division. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Fuji Seiyun, he was someone that I liked to see on his initial come up, and then, devastating injury, takes him out for half a year, comes back, gets back into the Juryo division, and he's been on a roll lately. It's one of those low rolls. 9-6, 7-8, sure, but 9-6, 8-7, 9-6. He's on a roll. I like Fuji Seiyun. I don't think he's going to win the yusho, but he could be a favorite to get promoted up next to Kusano. Let's see, Waka Ikari on his come up as well. 20 years old, so young, getting into this Juryo division. 8-7, pushing him up 4 spots. I think another 8-7 might be in the cards. And still, I really hate to see this. That 9-3-3. He was 9-2. He was in the yusho race, injured. Like, damn it. Come on. He was right there, bro. And then 8-7 afterwards, that's a decent follow-up. I'd like to see him continue pushing, but he is young. He's not nearly as strong as he will be. His peak is far away from him. But if he can get up and keep winning, that'll be nice to see. Hitoshi, let's see. He had another tragic start. 6 months out for injury. Had to start all the way down in Jonokuchi again. And, making his way back into Juryo after a horrendous debut. But, he's looking fine for himself as well. Ooh, excuse me. Daisei on his push up as well. Like I said earlier, that stock market line that zigzags up and down, but mostly trends upwards as him right now. At his career high, probably a losing record, but I'd like to see him get a win. Hatsuyama, the Sandanme 100 Tsukedashi from March of 2022, made his Juryo debut, stayed in Juryo, and, it's been tough going for him. We'll see if he can survive. 25 years old. Kaze Keno, 25 years old. This is his second stint in Juryo, and it's going much better than the first one. Started off 7-8 back in May of 2024. Now he's at a career high, Juryo 11. Will he be able to keep it going off the back of that 8-7? I think he might get a losing record here, but he could push for more. And then 3 new debutantes. I'll do the one everyone wants last. We'll start with Mudoho, Oho's brother. Now, I've been watching these 3 brothers for a while now, the Naya family, because there is Mudoho, Oho, and Naya. Naya, I believe, is still in the Sandanme division. But a 23-year-old Mudoho making it up to the Sekitori status. That's 2 out of 3 brothers up there. We'll see what he can do, but it's been slow going from his debut. He debuted when he was, 17 years old, so can't really fault him for that. Been building up that skill. And maybe, his brother becoming a Sekiwake helped light a fire under his ass. That's 7-0 Yusho from Makushita 44. Who did he have to beat for that? Ishizaki. And I like Ishizaki. And then, of course, making his Juryo debut. Then we have Miyanokaze, formerly Miyagi. Another one of those small, muscular guys. I like him a lot. I think he's cool. It's been another slow going for him too, but making his debut in Jonokuchi and taking the long way up. Lots of 4 and 3s, a couple of 3 and 4s interspersed in there. It's been tough, but he finally made it. Juryo 13, 26 years old, out of Nippon Sports Science University. Really looking forward to seeing what he can do in 15 days. And of course, everyone's favorite, the fan favorite, Mita. 23 years old, Nabatame's friend from Futagoyama stable, coming out of Kinki University. Just electric since his debut. 6'1", 5'2", 6'1", 5'2". It's funny though, because his 6'1s have come after losing on day one. He's never been in the yusho race conversation, but you know, that could be a tactical loss. You start off 0-1, you fight other people that are 0-1. Now you're 1-1. You fight other people that are 1-1. You're not fighting the best of the best that are all undefeated. You're fighting, oh, that guy's 2-1. Now I'm 3-1. That guy has 3-1 too. He's not fighting for the yusho. But we'll see how he does in 15 days. I don't think he's a lock to get a winning record, but definitely 7 wins minimum. Looking forward to seeing what Mita can do. As far as who I think could win the Juryo yusho, honestly, it could be someone surprising like Koto Eiho. I'm waiting for a Koto Eiho breakout. 21 years old. I'd like to see him basically jump over his brother Koto Shoho. Then we have the 3rd division. Let's see. We have a couple of guys up here. Who's 10 Dolzan? Is this the... No, I don't think this is the guy I thought he was. Let's see. Nobehara. If you're a fan of that Futagoyama stable, Nobehara on the come up. Makushita 13. We also have Enho at Makushita 10. Just a few steps away from getting back into the Sekitori ranks, getting that one tournament he needs so he can stay in the Sumo Association after retirement and become a sumo coach. He's been electric as well. 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1. Will it be another 6-1? I don't think so, but I think he'll get a winning record. And then, of course, Asanoyama. Asanoyama making another return. First one was due to a year-long suspension. Now this one was due to surgery. He's back. He's better than ever. A 7-0 yusho from Makushita 14 means he is back in Juryo, and I think he is the favorite to get that dub. If he doesn't, I will be surprised. And I'm not going to go too far into these lower guys. You can see a lot of guys are at new career highs. A couple of guys making debuts. Waka Ikazuchi, 6-1, 6-1. Where is... Because you're definitely going to want to know where Tenrose and Hikaru Musashi are. Jonidan 61 for Hoshoryu's cousin. Jonidan 62 for the American Rikishi, Musashi Maru's nephew. Both went 5-2 from Jonokuchi. So let's see how they do in Jonidan this next upcoming tournament. And then, of course, a lot of guys coming out of their Maizumo matches. I'm not going to name all of them, but all of those pink names are debuts. And there's actually a couple more guys at Ikazuchi stable. And it looks like Shishi is helping to put them on the map. I do believe it is Shishi, right? Yeah, Ikazuchi stable. So that is one of the small things that happens when you have a top division guy. People will be more inclined to join your stable because you have that top division guy. You know, it's a little bit more prestige. So, you know, good for Ikazuchi stable. As far as everyone else down here, I don't know. I don't know any of these guys. Never heard of any of these guys. But good luck to them as they start their sumo journeys. Should be interesting to see. Let's see. Banzuke guy means these guys are off the Banzuke due to injury. A couple of new names, like we said earlier. And then, it doesn't look like there were any retirements. So, let's get into the schedule for the first few days. Ooh! Day 1 is giving us a slobber knocker to start. Hoshoryu, Wakataka Kage. Onosato versus Wakamoto Haru. Oho versus Koto Zakara. Daieisho versus Abi. Gonoyama versus Kirishima. Takeyasu versus Tamawashi. Takeru Fuji versus Hirado Umi. Ura versus Ichi Yamamoto. Oshoma versus Chiyo Shoma. Haku Oho versus Tobizaru. I'm looking forward to that one. Onokatsu versus Churano Umi. Aonishiki versus Kin Bozan. Meisei versus Midori Fuji. Endo versus Shodai, a rivalry match. Atami Fuji versus Shishi. Toki Hayate versus Takanosho. Roga versus Sada no Umi. Ryuden versus Kaio. Nishikigi versus Shona no Umi. Tamashoho versus Asakoryu. And Tochi Taikai versus the visiting Mitake Umi from Juryo. Then on day 2, we know the schedule. Hoshoryu fighting Wakamoto Haru. Then Abi versus Kotozakura. Onosato versus Takayasu. That should be a good one. Oho versus Kirishima. Daisho versus Gonoyama. Tamawashi versus Wakatakakage. Ichiyamamoto versus Hirata Umi. Takeru Fuji versus Ura. Tobizaru versus Chiyoshoma. Oshoma versus Haku Oho. Aonishiki versus Churano Umi. Onokatsu versus Keen Bozan. Shodai versus Midori Fuji. Meisei Endo. Endo, heavily favored in that one. Takanosho versus Shishi. Atami Fuji versus Toki Hayate. Ryuden versus Sada no Umi, another rivalry match right there, 12-10. Shonan no Umi versus Roga. Kaio versus Nishikigi. Kusano versus Asakoryu. And Tamashoho versus Tochi Taikai. You call me? Alright. Be right back. The baby is waking up. Alrighty. And that'll conclude this part of the stream for you on the YouTube side. So if you want to continue watching, we will watch the ring purification ceremony as well as a couple of training videos over on the Twitch side, because we can't watch them on the YouTube side, because if we do, we are definitely going to get copyright struck. So thank you so much for watching over on the YouTube side. We will be back tomorrow. 6:30 p.m. Central Time is the start time. You'll have to do the math wherever else the hell you live. I believe it's 9:30 a.m. Japanese time. So, again, you could do your own time zone. I'm not going to list it out for the entire damn world. So thank you very much for watching. We will be back tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Thank you so much. And over on the Twitch side, we will continue the show.